Hey guys, Matt here, Rec Brewery. I'm going to do a bit of a review here. This is going to be another grain to glass video. So this is I'm calling this the Ruby Raider. It's a Citra Pale Ale. We'll go ahead and check this out in a second. Check out some brew footage first, and we'll be back in a minute. Maybe the foam will die down a little bit while we wait. So see you soon. Alright, so we're getting a heavy dose of Citra in this batch. We're also going to use some Eclipse. Shout out to Yakima Valley Hops, sponsor of the Brew Tubers. But I was going to use up the Citra I had from before. I have about 4 ounces in there. And I was going to top it off with the new stuff. But I realized that it's 2020. It's probably the oldest bag I have in my freezer. Most of the stuff I have, I keep within 2 to 3 years max. Generally, 3 years is pretty much the end for that. It's usually used up by then. But I decided, since I bought a pound of this, since it was on sale, I'm just going to use the new stuff. We'll go ahead and measure that out now. Alright, got all the hops measured out. Another shout out to Yakima Valley Hops. Look at that. Perfect. 5.2 on the nose. Filling up the boil kettle, doing the sparge. Alright, just coming up the volume now. We are just about 200. That's where I like to have it set to. So we're aiming for just over 7.5 gallons. We're pretty much there. So this should actually quit here any second now. So I believe, yeah, I believe we're about there. And that's it. Shut that off. We'll go ahead and set this to 100% manual mode. Alright, we'll get this boil going. And in the meantime, got my keg washer set up. Alright, we got a nice rolling boil going there now. So I didn't crank this down. I'm actually going to turn this down to 55. That's usually what I run it at. Gives me a good consistent boil off rate for an hour. We'll go ahead and start with the 1/4 ounce of Eclipse. And we'll start that timer, 60 minutes. Alright, so I figured I'd show this. I don't remember the last time I showed this, but this is what I have set up here in the keg. And cut my, I can see that in there. Yeah, you can. There's the floating dip tube in there, just hooked up to the out. And of course, that's just Star San suds. I gave it a Star San quick rinse, ready to go on that. Alright, coming up on 15 minutes. So, this is a 1/4 ounce of Eclipse and a 1/4 ounce of Citra. Boom. And then we also have the Whirlfloc tablet and the yeast nutrient. Alright, testing out my new valve that I integrated into my quick disconnects here at the source. Now we're there, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Very simple. There we go. Now we're going to hold it there, 170. Boom, right on the mark. Alright, transferring now. We are going to be using the Kveik Juggernaut yeast on it, so we do want to try to stick around. I'm going to try to ferment it around 80. Of course, the groundwater is not helping. I have it cranked open most of the way to kind of help keep the temperature up, but yeah, I think we'll be alright. Alright, gonna go ahead and put in the tilt. And then the yeast here, Juggernaut, fresh off of the stir plate. So there we go. Now we just need to get up to temperature. Got the heating belt wrapped around there a couple times because it's a keg, it doesn't fit as good. Got our spunding valve on there. Got it set for I think 10 or 12 psi, so we should see some activity here in a few hours. Since it was juggernaut on a starter, it does go fast. All right, here we go. This is after a few hours. At about 13 psi. Keep an eye on that to make sure I didn't set it any higher than that. I don't think I did. But hey, look. I think I might have overfilled it. It's starting to leak there, so I think what I'm going to do is put this in a bucket so I don't make a bigger mess. Alright, got her in a bucket. This way it catches anything else that might come out of there. But let's wait and see. Definitely have to clean this out afterwards. It's making a bit of a mess. Okay, so here it is in all its glory. This is the Ruby Raider, I'm calling it. It's a beer that I've brewed for a friend's wedding. He's getting married in a couple of weeks. So I'm getting ready to probably can this at the end of this week, maybe early next week. And well, as you saw from the pour, it might be a tad overcarbonated, but that's okay because I like it that way before I can it to make sure that, you know, because some of that gets lost in the transfer. So this way it's well carbonated when when somebody pops the can. Well, as you can see, this thing is not clear. It is definitely hazy. It has a lot of hops in it. So that's okay. I mean, I could see through it, but it's very, very sort of opaque. It's, you know, there's nothing in there. It's very clean beer. Otherwise, it's just got a bit of a haze to it. That's quite all right. So what we were going for this was he wanted something that was a little bit of a bit of a reddish hue, but it's still a pale ale. So I just kind of manipulated the greens to make that work. So what we have in this beer, and I brewed this last month. This would have been brewed in early February. It's mostly 2-row in this. I do have a pound of Munich, a pound of Red X. That's where some of the color is coming from. I got a little bit of Vienna in there, a little bit of Caramel 40, and a little bit of Cara Aroma. Very small amounts, just to kind of tweak the color on this. Lots of hops, as I said. There's probably, I don't know, 6-7 or so ounces of hops in this, and it's really just a play between Citra and Eclipse. So Eclipse was a hop that I got in my hop box, and I wanted to try it out. And I was reading up on it, and it looked like it would really complement the Citra very nicely, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. I mean, Citra, we all know what Citra is. You know, a lot of citrusy notes. Grapefruit is a prominent character in that. Eclipse is supposed to also be very citrus forward, but it's supposed to be really bright, and I believe have some sort of like a mandarin, like an orangey taste to it as well, or aroma to it as well. So I thought those two hops would play nicely together. So plenty of hops went into this, did some dry hopping as well, and I used Juggernaut as the yeast. So Kvike yeast on this one. Oh, forgot to put the locks on the table, that's all right. All right, so we got the foam has died down quite a bit, so now we can maybe get a good aroma on this. I will, there's just a bit of a disclaimer there. I did actually drink on this a couple of times. I have to go easy on it because I have to make sure I have plenty to send up to the wedding. Oh yeah, that is a juicy, fruity bomb on that, on the nose there. Very, very aromatic beer. I love that. It's getting a lot of the citrus notes. Definitely getting some of that orange and some of the grapefruit actually. Picking up both of those in the nose. It's really quite interesting. It's got a very, very nice aroma to it. So, cheers. Oh yeah. And the taste is it's full of flavor. Lots of really good flavor. I think I'm picking up more grapefruit type tastes in this. Definitely lots of citrus. See if I can get that that mandarin or that orange. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it comes in later. Definitely getting hit up front with the grapefruit and the citrus, and then yeah, getting a little bit of that orange taste there towards the end. That's really quite cool. How those two hops have played well with each other in this beer. Yeah, it's just full of aroma, full of flavor. Really nice. Yeah, I like that hop. This is the first time I used Eclipse. It came in the hop box. I've been kind of going through all the stuff that I've gotten in my hop boxes from Yakima Valley, and just kind of figuring out what to do with it all. And this one seemed like a good place to put it, and it turned out great. It's 5.5% ABV. So let's see, the OG on this was 1050. It got down to 1009. Water profile, I went 3-to-1. Excuse me. On this, actually, just a little shy of that. So 135 on the sulfates, the SO4, and 55 on the chloride. So yeah, that worked out. Well, we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night. Take care.